Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Well, the Ukrainian ungratefulness shows again, and it is very, very much irritating because when something fails, when Ukraine fails, it points the finger to someone else. It must be someone else's fault. Lack of accountability or personal responsibility, I can't believe. Now, what happened now? You know, the Ukrainians have been conducted this counteroffensive for about what? 2 months, almost 3 months in a few days. And it's a failure, however you want to look at it. I mean, the expectations were that in the first 2, 3, 4, 5 days, the Russians will be broken and they will ask for peace. Didn't happen. So they started the counteroffensive, the Ukrainians, who were told that they are independent. They make their own decisions. It's not NATO generals. It's not American politicians who actually tell the Ukrainians what to do, when to do, and so on. We've been told so many times that Ukraine decides or makes its ultimate decision in peace process, negotiations if they want with Russia, to continue the war, to conduct the war, the military offensive or defensive. We've been told all this. Nevertheless, when Ukraine fails, guess who Ukraine points the finger at? The West. Now this is unbelievable. The West gives Ukraine everything. Without what the West gives you, giving Ukraine, whatever they give, military aid, money, logistics, political support, sanctions on the Russians. Without that, the Ukrainians would have been, as they did in the first 2 weeks, asked for negotiations with the Russians. And it's still not enough. The Ukrainian counteroffensive is dead. The ambassador to Germany, the Ukrainian ambassador to Germany, calls the failed counteroffensive is due to the West's delays in weapons. So he says, let me show you. Ambassador to Germany calls delays in military assistance main reason for slow counteroffensive. This comes from Ukrainska Pravda. It doesn't come from Sputnik or Russia Today. So from them. So it's not a lie, and they don't say it in a bashful way. They don't say it like, you know what? No, they are accusing the West. We are slow because of you. Now, I don't know about you, but if, let's say, I see a homeless person, homeless, no money, no food, no nothing, and I decide to get that person inside my house and say, okay, I will help you to help yourself. I'll provide you, a bedroom, you're going to have, a shower, you're going to have a toilet, you're going to have food, you're going to have a beer from time to time. And, here is the food. I'm going to cook something for you. I'm going to make a steak, beef steak for you. All right. So I make it and I put it on the table for this Gigi. And this Gigi looks at it and say, well, that sucks. Your steak doesn't look, I'm not going to eat the steak. Not good. Give me something else. I tell you what I would do after making the mistake of getting him in. I'll get Gigi by the collar and I will kick him out and say, have a nice day. See you never. Now this is how I see Ukraine and the West. Without the West, Ukraine would be in the street. Okay, done. With the West is inside of the house, has housing, hot water, something to drink, something to eat, somewhere to sleep. Okay? Now, this guy says that without... I'm so irritated with this thing. It's like, for instance, someone provides you with a gift, and you look at the gift and tell the person who gives you the gift, the present, this sucks, man. It's like garbage, your present. Now, even if you don't like it, you don't tell that person. You thank that person because that person invested time and money and thought for you. So only for that you should thank. It might not fit your needs. Don't be like that. What do? Thank you very much, turn around and deposit that somewhere or do something with it. He doesn't have to know what happened to his gift. If he asks you, yes, it was very good, thank you very much, I used it, very useful. Be nice, all right? If you want, or you can say, it sucks, man. With this gift you gave me, I was waiting for a Lamborghini. You give me a piece of shit. Like the Ukrainian here. Now remember, we are told that Ukraine's military decisions and political decisions are made by the Ukrainians. We're been told this since the beginning of all this garbage in Ukraine. They told us that Zaluzny and Zelensky and all these guys, they make the decisions, and that these guys are just suggesting, give advice. Hey guy, I suggest that you should take a left here, not a right. And supposedly the driver in control of the car is Ukraine. So Ukraine makes the turn, is the one at the steering wheel. So in this counteroffensive, if you started it, first you started it, supposedly with not enough hardware, weapons. Why did you start it? Now you're slow. You've been slow from the very beginning. So we say, he said here, right, that their main reason is the delays in military assistance. Well, you were slow from the very beginning. So when you decided to start a counteroffensive, you should have had everything in its place. And you said, I'm going to do this. This is going to last me not for 2 days. And if in 2 days I don't receive the weapons, I'm done. You don't plan like that. You think about, I'm going to go with this and I'm going to attack for about, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 weeks, depending on the losses. I'm waiting for the other guys to bring me some more. But if the delays supposedly were so great, fantastic, that means those guys fucked you up really bad. That you really needed those not in 2 weeks, but in 2 days. So which one is it? It's a logistic thing? I don't think. I think it's the whole planning is wrong here. Let's read a little bit the article and see maybe we get something else out of this guy. So this is the guy right here. Okay? Ukraine's ambassador to Germany, Oleksiy Makeyev. Remember, this comes from Ukrainska Pravda. It doesn't come from Sputnik or Russia Today or someone. These guys are, shameless. He said that the delays in the supply of Western weapons to Ukraine are the reason why the current counteroffensive by Ukraine Defense Forces is not meeting expectations in terms of its pace. Or the Russians destroyed these deliveries of the supplies. Maybe? No? Someone is fault but yours, right? Okay. Makeyev, in an interview with public radio Deutschlandfunk, fragments of which were published by DPA news agency on Saturday, European Pravda. The ambassador pointed out that hesitant military support from Western partners is one of the reasons, they said the main one, for the difficulties Ukraine has been facing in its counteroffensive. And I'm quoting, Russia had time to build barricades, Makeyev said. He added that training and equipment Ukrainian assault brigades took a long time. These brigades, he said, are now fully equipped with Western weapons and ammunition. Makeyev also mentioned the debate in Germany over supply of infantry fighting vehicles and anti-aircraft systems, noting that he was conducting very pragmatic and substantive negotiations with the German government on the supply of long-range Taurus missiles. In addition, the diplomat stressed that Ukraine does not control the skies over its territory, which is why the supply of F-16 fighter jets is crucial to it. Why did you start the counteroffensive if you missed? Supposedly, you needed a Taurus, you needed a F-16, and many other things. Infantry fighting vehicles and anti-aircraft systems. Who made the ultimate decision? However you turn it, you get to you again. You are the one who said, we start a counteroffensive now. You said it. You decided. Nobody else, supposedly. So nobody pushed you into this. This is basically what he says. Well, we were kind of like, no, we started a counteroffensive, but we didn't have enough. Those guys waited too long, and the Russians were able to build the defensive lines. Maybe you can't, those guys cannot provide at your fingertip whenever you want things. I mean, they have people who work and have families and all that. Are you considerate to that? Or you don't give a fuck? It seems like he doesn't give one. He wants everything now, right now, and I don't give a damn about them. I just want to give you another example when Ukraine shut off, when was it? Before winter last year. Ukraine shut off a transit. I can't remember if it was oil or it was gas. I think it was gas going to Germany, Poland, and blah, blah, blah. Ukraine turned it off, shut it off, because they didn't receive the payment, the transit payment from the Russians, because the Russians could not pay through SWIFT. So the Russians said, we paid, the bank refused to accept our money or something, they didn't receive it. Therefore, the Ukrainians said, well, you, the Germans, we turn it off until those guys pay. Remember, I made that video, and if you're not familiar with the situation, you know who paid? It was Slovakia and Hungary, who also benefited out of that pipeline. So they paid for Russia, they accessed the SWIFT and paid for Russia, and Russia gave them somehow the money to Poland, to Hungary and Slovakia. So the Ukrainians did not play right there. You didn't pay? Click. You, Germany. But hey, Germany, you have to supply us with the weapons yesterday. Now, chop chop. Now, who's in charge here? If Germany plugs off, this guy is dying, is in life support because of Germany and others. It's not the other way around. It's like the banks. Can't you see that the banks now are more important than you, I, and our businesses? When actually they are a consequence of our existence. We don't exist because of the banks. They exist because of us. We lived without banks. Banks cannot live without us. And still, they are in charge of us somehow. Somehow, they are the guys who dictate what's going to happen, when actually they are because of us. It's like that analogy that I make with the Bible. When the Old Testament, how God got Adam, the man, to fall asleep, and then he took a rib, not his heart, not his liver, not an organ that is really, or the brain, something really that makes you stay alive, a rib. You can live, a body can live without a rib. A rib without a body cannot survive. Take a rib, put it over here, the rib will rotten, will die. We're not gonna live without the organism. The organism can live without 1, 2, 3, 5 ribs. So again, the rib is, what's his name? In this case, the woman. In that case is Ukraine, and the other case is the banks. And somehow the banks dictate. Ukraine dictates. Dictate. No, they don't dictate. I mean, if you allow them, they will dictate. If you allow Ukraine, it will dictate. If you allow the rib to dictate, she will dictate. If you allow the banks to dictate, they will dictate. Ultimately, it's your decision. How did you get to this one? Who's orchestrating all this? Who are those guys? Because obviously it should be the other way around. And somehow it's not. So much ungratefulness coming again from Ukraine, and lack of self-awareness. No accountability. Someone else's fault. Like a narcissistic individual. It's not me. I lost because you. But when I win, it's self-attribution principle. When I succeed, it's me, man. It's me with the big balls. It's me. When I lose, is because of you. Always. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.